What are the differences between living in Ridgefield and Vancouver, Washington? That's what we're going over today. Hey, welcome back to the Living in Vancouver and Camas, Washington YouTube channel. I'm your host, Hannah Dubyne, and I'm super excited you're here today because I'm going over one of the most requested topics, or it's a question I get a lot from people wanting to move to the area, and that is, what's the difference between living in Ridgefield and Vancouver, Washington? Well, Vancouver and Ridgefield are next to each other, they touch borders, but they're very different cities, or I should say maybe towns. Vancouver is a city, Ridgefield is a small town of 12,000. So today I'm gonna go over 5 big things to consider if you're considering living in either Ridgefield or Vancouver and you don't know which one to choose. By the way, thanks so much for watching. If you're looking to move to the area, we'd love to connect with you. Please reach out to myself and my team at Dubyne Realty Group. You can text us, email us, DM us. We help people relocate every single day. We help one person every week buy a home here, which is awesome. Also, subscribe to our weekend newsletter, Weekend Happenings with Hannah, to see the best few events happening locally here. That is all I have to say for you for that, and let's jump into the video. So first, let me give a quick overview about Vancouver versus Ridgefield. Ridgefield is a small town of about 12 or 13,000 right now, and Vancouver is a large city of about 180 to 190,000. So very different demographics. If you live in Vancouver, you usually associate more with the spot in Vancouver you live in, such as Philida or Salmon Creek or Minnehaha or Cascade Park, etc. I have lots of videos up talking about that if you want more details. But Ridgefield is so small that, there's not really certain areas of Ridgefield. It's just Ridgefield. Ridgefield, even though it just kind of came on the scene recently and has only been growing a lot the last 20 years, it's been around for a long time, and it was actually the birthplace of U-Haul. I do have videos up for both Vancouver and Ridgefield about pros and cons of each city, so go watch those if you're curious. First big thing to know about Vancouver versus Ridgefield is that Vancouver is going to have more older homes and Ridgefield is going to have more newer homes. Now, of course, the words newer and older are relative. So when I say them in this context, I'm talking up in Ridgefield, most of the homes were built after about 2000. You're going to be hard pressed to find 90s or 80s or 70s homes up there. Really, the development has happened a lot over the last 20 years. So if you're looking for something particularly on a large lot or far away from your neighbors, you're gonna have a harder time finding that up in Ridgefield in a neighborhood. If you wanna look on acreage, that's great. There's definitely acreage opportunities, rural opportunities up in Ridgefield, but not so much like quarter acre or third acre neighborhoods. You're gonna be more likely to find that in Vancouver, where we have homes all the way back to the late 1800s in downtown Vancouver. We don't have a lot of homes that old here. Honestly, most of our homes in Vancouver were built after about the 1980s, but you're gonna find a lot more options for 70s, 60s, 80s, 90s homes in Vancouver. So if you want something with that old school charm, you want a mid-century modern, you want to be far away from your neighbors on a third of an acre but in a neighborhood, Vancouver's probably going to be a better fit for you. Second thing I want you to know about Vancouver versus Ridgefield is that Vancouver is more established and Ridgefield is more up and coming. There's not really a right or wrong here, it's just depending on what your taste is and what your lifestyle needs currently are. But Vancouver was the original city in Clark County. It's got everything you need in it. It's got all the stores, it's got all the grocery places, it's got all of the restaurants, lots of freeways. Yes, we have construction going on. We're always making improvements and changes, but not as much as Ridgefield. Ridgefield has grown rapidly over the last 20 years. They've pushed through a lot of building permits there for both houses and commercial. And there's going to be a lot of construction up there, and there's going to be a lot of changes. So if you're someone who doesn't necessarily like a lot of changes, you hate construction, like hate it, no one really likes it, but maybe consider not moving to Ridgefield or moving to a little bit further out spot in Ridgefield. Because right now on Pioneer Street, which is kind of the main street of Ridgefield that you go through, there's a lot of construction in all different areas. We have Costco going in up there. We have dentists going in up there. We've got Les Schwab. We've got lots of other local businesses and strip malls and that kind of thing. Tons of neighborhoods, tons of home permits are always open up there. So things are going to change. The third thing on my list to know about Vancouver versus Ridgefield is that Vancouver is quantitatively gonna have more to do, but Ridgefield is a little bit more of a cutesy little town. Now, what I mean by that is Vancouver is a much larger city. It's the 4th largest city in Washington currently. And we have, downtown Vancouver, and we've got the Vancouver waterfront, and we have, shops at Erickson Farms, and we have, dozens and dozens of coffee shops and small businesses and parks and moms groups and all of those things. So you're just gonna find more opportunities in Vancouver. But if you're looking for that cute small town vibe, Ridgefield is going to be probably a better spot for that. Reason being that naturally you get that in a smaller town where people have an easier time knowing each other, recognizing each other. The Ridgefield downtown is very cute, the little historic area. They've got like a little food cart thing set up down there. They're doing a good job revitalizing it. They've got little banners and they have flower pots and, everything that you would want a little downtown to have. They're also working on revamping the waterfront, so I think that's gonna make it even more of a community-centered area. Okay, fourth thing I wanna talk about is the cost difference between housing in Ridgefield and Vancouver. Property taxes in these areas are pretty much the same, and if there are differences, they're kind of negligible, less than $1,000 a year, a couple $100 a year. If you don't know, property taxes here are based off the assessed value of your home, which usually lags behind your fair market value. So go check out our tax video if you want more information on all things taxes in Clark County. But the biggest difference is gonna be between the actual difference in the price in the home. So right now, I have the statistics pulled up here. The average sale price for a home in Vancouver is $533,000, and in Ridgefield, it's $638,000. So that is a little bit more than $100,000 difference between the two cities. That's a lot. And you might actually think, well, wouldn't Ridgefield be less expensive because it's more north, you're going further away from the city? You might think that, but there's a lot of new homes up there and they're coming with a lot of bells and whistles. So there's a higher sales price up there. Granted, the sales price for Vancouver encompasses all of Vancouver, but different parts of Vancouver have different sales prices. For example, Philida median sales price usually hovers between $710 and like $740, versus like Minnehaha is gonna be low 400s, mid 400s. So there's a wide range there depending on where you live in Vancouver. I think what you need to know overall here is that it's very difficult to buy a home for less than $500,000 in Ridgefield right now. If you have less than a $500,000 budget, I'd recommend looking in Vancouver. You're gonna have a lot more options and you're gonna be paying for new homes up in Ridgefield. The fifth and final thing I wanna touch on about Ridgefield versus Vancouver is the job situation, the job market. If you're looking for a job, you might be wondering what kind of jobs are available in each city. Vancouver, again, is a large city, so there's tons of jobs in every type of sector. And with that being said, there's a lot more opportunity for jobs in Vancouver than there is Ridgefield. The only job opportunities in Ridgefield are really local businesses, retail, people need to work at the gas station and the local restaurants. And then on the east side of the freeway, there are some more commercial buildings like plumbers and service people out there, construction companies, etc. But there's not really a ton of white collar jobs up there right now. Oh, we do have the casino. I know a lot of people work there, but still, not really white collar jobs, that's more service jobs. So as Ridgefield grows, we anticipate there's gonna be more job opportunities up there, but a lot of people that currently live in Ridgefield, if they don't work one of those jobs, they either work from home, they commute to Vancouver, or they commute to somewhere over the river. Well, that is my 5 things I wanted you to know about living in Ridgefield versus Vancouver, Washington. I hope it helps you in your decision making. If you have any more questions or you still don't know which one is right for you, feel free to reach out to us, text us, email us, DM us on Instagram at Hannah Dubyne. Sign up for our weekend newsletter, Weekend Happenings with Hannah. Connect with us on Instagram. I post lots of cool, different stuff on there. You can check out kind of my daily life and what I do as a full-time realtor. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.